So yesterday we had a major technical failure. I went out and filmed this beautiful board from ACEDECK, the brand new Nyx Z3, and well, the audio went to shit. Repeat it a third time, but if you're looking at the Z3, it's practically unusable. There's some bits that can be saved, but most of it is just horrible. Let's move forward. Let's look at this beautiful Z3 from ACEDECK. It's part of the Nyx family, as you can tell, and it's had some major upgrades. First and biggest upgrade has to be the new suspension. The addition of these springed shocks on these channel style trucks is really just, I think, the jewel in the crown of the Z3. From my testing over the last week and really showing in today's video, which we'll come back to multiple times, this board handles off-road now just like a champ. It's so comfortable now, and the way that the independent suspension works, you can really have a lot of fun. You know, it's all done with this machine 7075 machine grade aluminium, and it just feels right. One point to say, if you have had Nyx before and you've worked out your perfect bushing setup, mine personally is red at the back, white in the front, you'll need to revisit that because the springs does add a fair bit of resistance to your turning, and so you'll have to play around with your spring adjustment, but also your bushing selection. For example, I went out with red and white. However, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put black in the front to just make it that bit more carvy. Moving up from the trucks and looking at the deck, it's the same beautiful Nyx deck that I think if you've ever had one, you've loved. I personally love this board. I love the deck shape. I'm trying really hard to say deck. Super comfortable and still has a really nice amount of rebound and spring in it. It's not super stiff, and now obviously with the addition of those springs, it's even more reboundy and springier and really absorbs even more of those vibrations. As far as the box on top, that has not changed. However, there are now 4 different battery configurations for this board, and depending on which configuration you choose will also determine what motor you get. So the 3 smaller size batteries, you get one particular motor, and then the top one, the Elite, you do get a different one, but I'll go through those details now really quickly. So the first one, or the smallest option you've got with the Nyx Z3, that is a 14S3P, and that comes with the Molicel P42A cells. So really good discharge, but not the best capacity. The next one up is a 14S4P, that comes with the 50E cells, that's 1036 watt hours. Next one up from that is the 14S5P, that's this model right here, that's with the 50E cells as well, so 1295 watt hours. And then their Elite model, this is a brand new battery configuration for ACEDECK, and that's a 14S6P, and that's with the Samsung 50E cells as well, and that comes in at 1554 watt hours. So a really big battery. The motors that I just spoke about, if you go for the top tier one, so the 14S6P, the Elite model, I believe they're calling it, you get the 6890 motors, 150 kV, 7,500 watts each. If you go for the other 3, so the slightly smaller ones, you get the 6384, and they're 4,500 watts each, still 150 kV. Doesn't matter which battery configuration you get, you still get their really nice elemental gear drive, which is a metal on metal gear, and I think it's straight cut. I have to double check, it doesn't say in the notes, but I'm 99% sure it's straight cut gears, and these things are whisper quiet. 3, 2, 1. There's just this like whine, like a turbo on an R33 Skyline. It's just like, this thing performs beautifully. And I must say, when you pair the battery with their new upgraded ESC, which we'll touch on in a second, with these motors and these gear drives, it delivers some insane power. ACEDECK is claiming a 46% hill climb, and I actually believe that. It's very rarely these days that I do believe a hill climb claim, but in this case, I really do believe it. The other thing to talk about is its speed. This is a very, very fast board, like scary fast. I have ridden skateboards, production skateboards, fast before, and when you're at that top range, you do sort of feel a little bit nervous, but you know, there's a bit of thrill in it. This one gets up to 60 and you don't even realize it. Hit up to 65 and you're like, okay, now I'm starting to feel like we're going fast. This is like, when you're on 60, you kind of feel like you're doing 30 on a TKP board. You feel fully in control, you feel bulletproof, you feel very safe. This is a fast board as far as top speed and acceleration. And just coming back to that ESC, this is their 3rd or 4th generation now. And again, they've listened to rider feedback, and they've made this one even smoother out of the box. And what I mean by that is that you can put this in Sports Plus, hit that accelerator, and it climbs beautifully. It's not gonna spin the back wheels and throw you off backwards and bust your wrists, but it's gonna throw you forward very, very quickly and take you up to that top speed very, very quickly as well. The other big upgrade is this is now capable of 145 amps at a 10C discharge. So just ACEDECK, I feel they've been around for about 1.5 years now. Time has flown. I know they just celebrated the 1-year anniversary of the Aries. I've got a cool little magnet in my box. ACEDECK is just constantly growing and innovating and just improving. And yeah, I have seen a few people saying, oh God, another board. But it's never just another board for the sake of it. There's always an upgrade or a change or an advancement or a new technology. And that's what I really do like about it. To close off, I guess, the street talking or the street riding on this board, it carves beautifully, it grips amazingly well. You've got this awesome handle at the front so you can pick it up and you can drag it behind you if you need to. If you want to flip it over and work on the wheels, battery box on the top. This is something I really, really like. When I first got my first ever top mounted board, which I think was the Z1, the original NYX, I was like, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this, but I very, very quickly became a massive fan of top mounted boards for one reason and one reason only: ground clearance. I've got nothing under here. I don't have to stress about smacking my battery case. I don't have to stress about piercing a battery cell in a sharp rock. And that ground clearance, which you'll see very shortly when we go off-road, this is really what matters when you're going off-road and you want to have confidence. Like, this thing will go practically anywhere. You know, and coming up in the footage, you'll see we're going over some bumps, some jumps, through mud, and there's just nothing there to worry about. Also IP65, so good waterproofing. Again, we did put that to the test. You can probably see how dirty the board is. We really, this thing came home very, very dirty. I probably should have cleaned it, but I was exhausted after the ride. Now let's move on to off-road capabilities, because that is really the DNA of the Nyx Z3. That's my personal opinion. I feel this board has been designed for off-road fun. I was just like a kid in a candy shop. It was 32 degrees with 80% humidity. I did not want to stop. It was insanely fun. The first part we did, we went to Underwood, sorry, and there was a slightly slower ride, much more twisty and turny. I wanted to check the maneuverability of the Z3. And you know, it's not as maneuverable as I'd hoped because I didn't have my bushing set up correct. You know, I went red, white, and just assumed it would be the same. But after I'd done 2 or 3 turns, I certainly learnt how to get this thing around a track pretty quickly, and it was a lot of fun. I'd love to see some like really technical off-road riders in here, often with their binding. They would have an absolute blast. Oh, Biggest thing was just having the trust in those parts, you know, knowing that it has that super strong swing arm or steering arm on the front, knowing it's not going to break or shatter if I hit a rock. And I did hit a whole heap of rocks with this board. And also having that extra ground clearance, you know, having the smaller footprint of that gear drive, of the elemental gear drive, means instead of having this much ground clearance like you would traditionally, you know, you've now got close to 2 inches at the worst, at the lowest point at the back there. You know, and this track we went on was a lot of fun. And once we got to the bottom, well, I'll let myself talk because I know this audio is okay. But once we got to the bottom, man, I was huffing and puffing. Okay. Woo! I am sweating and I am out of breath. So much fun though. Nyx Z3 on that slow, cornery technical stuff. Oh, I'm shaking. Hopefully the GoPro can handle that. Not a problem. Let's find our way out of here and let's go to the fire trails over in Daisy Hill and let's open this bad boy up. Now that footage you just saw then was leaving the bottom of Underwood and basically going in a straight line up this reasonably steep, super rocky, really rutted, because that's where all the rainwater runs, really super rutted. I've struggled even riding an EUC up there sometimes. It's that rough and just rocky and loose stuff. And the NYX, like, yeah, I was looking ahead, but it just climbed it like a mountain goat. I was so impressed. You can really see that independent suspension doing exactly what it needs to do. It was keeping the board level by doing all of those micro adjustments with that beautiful spring suspension and those really nice steering arms. Like, it's just, I'm not trying to be hyper about this board, but you know, I've always said that the Z1, the NYX Z1 was my all-time. If I had to pick one skateboard to live with for the rest of my life, it would be the Z1. This could replace that. Like, once I play with the bush ends, this could replace that and become my all-time favorite board that I've ever ridden to date as of the 4th of February 2024. It's really nice. But let's carry on. So from there we went on to Daisy Hill, and even just getting into Daisy Hill was fun. You know, there's a bit of a track, there's some river rocks, there's a whole lot of mud, and again, the Z3 just flew through it. There were some really nice little bumps. I was really wishing for the first time ever I had bush ends on this board. If I had bush ends, I would have been confident to push it a little bit harder and maybe get a little bit of air over some of those bumps. I'm sure I would have eaten some shit, but it would have been a heap of fun and worth it. Really is honestly the first time, hand on heart, I was really wishing I had bindings to put on it. And that's something we'll talk about towards the end when I talk about improvements, opportunities. Once we got in there, well, I think you can understand this audio. I'll let myself talk and then I'll show you the footage. All right, we've made it to Daisy Hill. We made it through the water, the rocks, all the obstacles. Now we should be able to have a little bit of high-speed fun. This is a koala reserve, so we do have to be careful. There are dog walkers, horse riders, and mountain bikers. So we'll have as much fun as we can, but if I see other people, I will slow down and I'll say hello, just so we don't annoy anybody. But this is where, man, those 200mm tires really are helpful.
Hey, yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Fuck with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Boom, boom. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that, I'm on it and next. Fuck this up, I send you back to your ex. But good luck with that, this is big as it gets. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever. Yeah, oh shit, they don't let me shoot a whole clip. Firepower in this coalition. We just turned the field into a demolition. It was desolate, but I had premonition. I was training for war, every exhibition, every extra mission, every enemy listening. Get off my dick, I got bad intentions. Make it right every wrong, and I'm back with a vengeance. I show you the ropes. Peace in my town.
So as you probably can tell, I was having an absolute blast in Daisy Hill. Really nice, big, wide fire trails, really steep bits, really steep up and down bits. Not really many people around, and we really opened this thing up. I hit 62 kilometers per hour off-road, which is crazy. Really fast board, super capable off-road, just crazy fun, crazy well made. It's hard to find a fault with this board. You know, perfect wheels. Like maybe you could put street wheels on it, but I think if you're gonna go for the Z3 with the suspension, you need to have these 200 by 50mm tires. They're just perfect. These beautiful CNC milled hubs. They're almost too pretty for this board. I feel like this board almost needs something a bit more utilitarian, but they just suit it so well. I've already talked about the handle, the ground clearance. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Awesome upgraded ESC. Really love this addition of these springs. I know they've been fine-tuning these for the last 6 months, going backwards and forwards, testing different spring manufacturers, different shocks, different mounts, different ways of designing these steering arms, different materials. I think the product they've presented is close to perfect. Like, I don't have any complaints, but again, I'm not an extreme off-road rider. I think if you're an extreme off-road rider, I would love to get your feedback. So if you do get one of these, make sure you reach out, let me know what you think. Let me know if there's something I'm missing that I'm not sure about. What else? Awesome battery configuration options. There's 4 different types. You know, if you want a lighter board and you want heaps of capacity, discharge, got it right the first time, you can choose the Molicel P42As. But if you want something that's almost as good, but heaps more range, you know, you can go for the 14S 6P with the 50Es or the 14S 5P, which this one is, with the 50E cells. And you're gonna get really, like, I rode this for hours and hours, and I was only down 2 bars, which is insane. So 1,295 watt hours on this one. The 2 different motor types, I really like that. These motors I was never wanting for more power, ever. So I would hate to think what the top model feels like with those 7,500 watt motors versus these ones, which is only 4,500 watts. What else? Deck, awesome. Deck. One thing I didn't touch on, the Z3 will be coming out with integrated lights. They just weren't quite ready for these pre-production boards. The integrated lights are coming. They're going to get shipped separately, and we'll include that in a separate video. I am going to do a range test on this board because I think it will probably be a channel record, but I'm really looking forward to that one. So we'll wait till we get the lights, and then we'll go out and do that. The other thing, and this is where I need information from you. I want to put bindings on this. I know I've said that before and I haven't done it, but what bindings should I get? Who do you think has the the best bindings in the business to put on here? And what are your opinions on full bindings versus just half bindings? Like, do I want just the toe hooks? Do I want the ones that I can tighten up, or do I want the full kit caboodle, so the toe and the heel locked in? I know nothing, so please tell me your pros and cons if you've got an opinion. I would really like to know. And if there's a particular one you use and you highly recommend, comment below or send me a link, because I really want to get bindings on this and go back there and see if we can get some air and do some jumps. Two things, like, okay, here's, oh no, one thing, one opportunity for this board. As I said, it is close to perfect, and I think the board itself, the remote, where is it? It's somewhere. It's the NYX remote, USB-C. You can change all the settings from the remote. You can change your acceleration, your power, your top speed, your braking. You can view your amps, your temperatures, all that, which is awesome. The one small opportunity for the Z3, and I think it's more true now with these bigger batteries, is I think it needs to come with a bigger charger. In the box, it comes with a 4-amp charger, and they predict a 5-hour charge time. I put this on charge when it was quite low and I got close to 6 hours. I think in this day and age, with this quality of board they're turning out and this amazing product, I would like to see a 6, 7, 8 amp charger come standard with the board. I don't know how much extra that costs, but I think it deserves it. And I think it would make this whole thing absolutely perfect. That is my only one thing I would say, is a bigger charger. But yeah, that is it. So how do you get this board? Well, there'll be a link in the description along with a discount code. It'll be Scott D. That's my affiliate code for all companies. If you choose to use that code, you get the board at the cheapest possible price, so it doesn't cost you any extra to use that. And it also tells them that you liked my video, that you found it informative, and it helped you make a choice to buy it. So I get a little kickback as well. So if you choose to use it, thank you very much. I appreciate you using that and supporting the channel. As always, if you've got any comments or questions, chuck them down below. And that's it. So until we see you on the next time, don't forget, skate safe, wear a helmet, and we'll see you on the next video.
Scotty. Who's Scotty?